Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy, C-Ton Nation, your coach of the Philadelphia Flagons, bringing you the first video of the channel. Before we get into the video, a little bit of a recap of what the channel will be. It's going to have two draft leagues for Pokemon. This one, which is the PCA, and the PWC, in which my current team name is the Louisville Littons, which will probably change. Right now, I am in the semifinals of that league, so I don't know how much of it I will upload, but if you would like to see some of it, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to post some of the replays. But without further ado, let's get into the recap of this draft. I had the last pick, so I think there were 10 teams in total, so I got the wheel, so I'd get 10 and 11, and then I'd have like a 20 pick break until my next one. So with the first pick, I grabbed Mew because it was still available, and I figured it would cover a lot of things that I would potentially need in the future, and having that big gap in between my two picks, I figured this would be the best value that I could grab. Mew has a lot of versatility. It can be a Stealth Rocker, it can be a Defogger, it can physically set up with Bulk Up, it can specially set up with Calm Mind, it can U-turn out, it gets so much coverage, it's kind of unbelievable. And like I said, there's just a ton of versatility. It can be a wall, it can be a staller, like it can literally cover any role that I need it to on this team, which is vital for the first pick of my draft. Also, the team is Lion King themed. So our Mew will be our Simba, and he will also be our Z Crystal user. Only one Pokemon per team can use Z Crystals, and I have a ton that could have, but ultimately I decided on Mew just to add to its versatility to make people even more paranoid about prepping for it. And with the immediate following pick, I grabbed Infernape, the Rafiki, or Rafiki the Infernape, excuse me. Similar to Mew, it can be both physically and specially offensive, boasting 104 in both aspects. It also gains access to Stealth Rocks, and it's another momentum gainer with U-turn. It's a great speed tier for Choice Scarf. It has enough offense to be a Life Orb hitter. It can be a Rocks, Sash, Endeavor lead. You can run Will-O-Wisp, Slack Off. You can make it a little bit bulky like that. You can run Fake Out for anything with Sashes, and then knock it out the following turn. Yeah, you got a ton of versatility to it, and it's also another mixed attacker. Not sure if I mentioned that, but like you can run like a close combat, Flare Blitz, Overheat set. Overheat still will hit something really, really hard, lower the special attack, and then your physical attack is still incredibly high. But like I said, it's just incredibly versatile. You can run SD, you can run Nasty Plot. It's one of my favorite Pokemon too, so this is going to be really fun to use. I haven't decided on if anything is going to be shiny or not yet. If you guys have preferences as to what's shiny, let me know. But I think it's going to be a play it by ear kind of thing. So I had a 20 pick break after that, I believe it was, and I ended up grabbing Hydreigon. Again, exact same reasons that I grabbed Mew and Infernape. It can be both physical and special attacker with really good natural bulk. It has 105 attack and 125 special attack. It also has tremendous coverage that it can be a really solid Assault Vest user, and it's another good speed tier for Choice Scarf. Dark and Dragon is incredibly difficult to switch into. The only real, I think, coverage for it would be Fairy that resists / immunes both stabs. But Hydreigon has a ton of versatility to it. It gets Fire Blast, it gets Focus Blast, gets Draco's, obviously, Earth Power, and then it gets physical coverage on the same spectrums. In addition, it also gets Flash Cannon to try to catch the fairies coming in on it. So there's a lot of potential. My first three Pokemon all could have been really strong Z-move users, but again, I decided on Mew. I might regret it later on because of how many items Mew can naturally use, but Yeah, my first three Pokemon all also have reliable recovery in Roost with Hydreigon, Slack Off with Infernape, and Roost Soft Boiled Recover with Mew. So those are my first three picks. I feel like the three of them really complement each other. And my next Pokemon adds to it. It doesn't necessarily fit my current mold, but with my two picks after this, it'll kind of balance itself out. I grabbed Buzzwole, who will be our Pumbaa. Oh, also, Hydreigon is going to be nicknamed Edenzai, which is a combination of the three hyenas names from The Lion King. So that's the reasoning behind that for everyone confused. Pumbaa is our Buzzwole, and it is one of the better Ultra Beasts in my opinion because of its natural bulk. It has tremendous HP and defense. Its special defense leaves little to be desired, obviously, but it has really good move pool that it can run an Assault Vest, similar to every one of my Pokemon so far as well. It gets access to two of the best bug coverages in Leech Life and Lunge. Leech Life obviously getting the buff this generation to base 80 power, and it recovers 50% of your health. You can also run a really nice bulk up set, so if my opponent doesn't have many special threats, excuse me, you can run bulk up and just absolutely obliterate and punish opponents. It gets access to Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, Hammer Arm, which lowers your speed, but that doesn't necessarily matter with a Buzzwole because it has a pretty low speed tier to begin with. It also gets Taunt, which can capitalize on things like Pyukumuku, or like slower hazard setters, which would be really, really beneficial, or things that are going to try to Will-O-Wisp it because of its natural offense. So that's Buzzwole. I feel like it doesn't necessarily fit well, but with the next pick after the huge gap once again, we grabbed Milotic, which has tremendous natural special defense. So it has base 125, which is going to cover Pumbaa very, very well. I don't believe they don't have any shared weaknesses. And with Burn getting nerfed this generation, you can also run a really cool Flame Orb set. And you only take 6% from the Burn, and you'll also get times 1.5 defense boost. So it'll just be an absolute monster to take down. And then access to Recover, Scald, Ice Beam, Toxic. It's going to be annoying. One of the best ways to deal with Milotic in the past was Toxicking it. But if I'm running a Flame Orb set, you obviously can't Toxic it, and it's going to be incredibly annoying to take down. And it'll just be like a natural wall to help build out the team. Its coverage isn't the greatest. It can run Haze, though. If I'm getting scared of Setup Sweeper, I have other ways of dealing with them as well in the later ends of the draft. But for the most part, it's going to be similar sets each week. But it's going to be effective sets, so it's going to balance itself out really, really well. After Milotic, I wanted to grab another special wall in case I had a really bad matchup or someone has a team of all special attackers that's going to be annoying to deal with. So I grabbed Nala, our Latias. I believe Soldew is legal in this league, so I need to check on that, but I can run Soldew. Lefty's Life Orb Choice Scarf. It hits base 110 speed, so it's going to be really, really fast, and it's going to hit things really hard with Dracos, Surfs, Thunderbolts, Ice Beam, stuff like that. It also gets Defog, so it can be a nice hazard control, Calm Mind, and Recover. So it can be a defensive Pokemon. It also gets access to Reflect type, so if I'm dealing with Bisharp, sorry, I couldn't think of it. You can run Reflect type, and then you end up resisting both of Bisharp's stabs, and Bisharp is traditionally a really good check to a Latias. In addition to that, you can run Healing Wish, and Healing Wish can be really, really helpful in case somehow like a Milotic gets burned, or Toxic, or a Buzzwole gets burned, or if Infernape or Simba are a really, really good win con, I can end up healing them up if they took damage, and then they can be right back to where they started. It's pretty much trading a Pokemon to fully restore another Pokemon for anyone who does not know. But Lottie has a lot of versatility to it, with tremendous coverage and good natural special attack that you don't necessarily need to invest too much into to make it still hit really hard. So that was the first half of our draft, and then we had another long wait until we got back, and I ended up grabbing Azu because I noticed that I didn't have a fairy yet, and a lot of the fairies were getting taken, but somehow this little guy was still available. Sarabi is going to be our Azu, and for those of you who don't know, Sarabi is the eldest mother who ends up standing up to Scar when everything starts going wrong. Anyway, I digress. Azu has its 3 most notable sets, being Choice Banded, Assault Vested, and Belly Drum Citrus Berry. Those are the big 3 with the access to huge power, obviously. And primarily they're on Aqua Jet, Knockoff, Play Rough, Waterfall, Ice Punch sometimes, depending on matchups. I think it gets Superpower as well, which could be nice. But yeah, those are some of the big sets. In addition to that, it can also run. I have a couple ideas for like a cool Perish Trap Whirlpool set where I can just end up stalling someone out and basically sacrificing one of their Pokemon and then keeping Azu completely healthy. So that's Azu. Azu's pretty well known for what it does, so there's not going to be too much creativity to it, but there will be some fire thrown in there every now and then. But with Azu being taken, I had 2 water types, so I wanted to kind of correct that. So with the second half of my wheel, I grabbed Thunderous Therian Zazu because of its Volt Absorbability. Going back to the beginning of my draft, my logic came back to physical and special bulk, hitting 105 and 145. So it can be either physical or specially attacking. It has Volt Switch and U-turn, so if there's a prominent ground type that's going to be coming in, I can always U-turn out if I need to. Also run HP Ice if it's able to be whittled down by my Thundurus. It also gets access to Agility Nasty Plot, which is really, really effective, and it gets really nice coverage. It's not like the widest coverage, but it's coverage to handle the majority of the Pokemon will be facing. Obviously, HP Ice is pretty necessary for it, considering it doesn't get Ice Beam. But in addition to that, it gets Knockoff, it gets Superpower, it gets U-turn, it gets Crunch, I believe. I'm sure there are other physical moves that I'm not thinking of, but yeah, it can be run offensively if I needed to. Another taunt user as well, so I'm keeping my options open to a lot of different taunt users. I have Infernape, I have Mew, I have Zazu, and I have Buzzwole. So after that, I had another really, really long gap until my next pick. So I grabbed Zygarde 50, Mufasa, because somehow it was still available. It doesn't necessarily fit my team too well, but it was still available, and I couldn't pass it up because of how amazing it is. You can run Band, 1,000 Arrows, which has next to no switch-ins, Outrage. You can run a Leftovers Subcoil set. You can run a Lumberry Dragon Dance set. You can run a Glare subset. There are so many different things you can run for it. You can even run special if you're feeling kind of cheeky. It's not too great, but if you're feeling cheeky, it can work at base 81. It's not, again, tremendous, but it might come once. Power Construct is obviously legal, but with access to Outrage, Extreme Speed, and 1,000 Arrows, I don't see many Pokemon switching into this. In addition, it has tremendous natural bulk, so if Pokemon want to run HP Ice, they can, and I'll still pretty much eat it up. So that was the next logic. It has a ton of versatility to it, and again, with its high HP stat, it has very, very customizable EV spreads, which is going to be nice for me, because I like coming up with creative spreads to kind of check things that wouldn't naturally check. So after Zygarde, the second half of my wheel, I grabbed Galvantula. Again, Galvantula doesn't fit the team too well, but I wanted I wanted the threat of sticky webs, because if you look at my team, sticky webs are horrifying with things like Buzzwole, things like Zygarde, things like Tornadus Theory, and things like Infernape. Like, even your Scarfers aren't going to outspeed them, and I'm going to take them out. So it's going to add another dimension of prep for my opponents, which is going to be really, really nice. Galvantula is best known for its Focus Sash lead set, where you throw up your sticky webs and you just kind of hope that they stay around. I'll probably use it a little bit differently. Maybe like a Mental Herb at like late game. I can run Specs, I can run Scarf. With Bug and Electric Compound Eyes, I can run Thunder, Bug Buzz, Energy Ball, and it'll hit a lot of Pokemon. In addition to that, it gets access to Sucker Punch, which will be really nice for potential Sash Mons, like if Pokemon are down to their Sash, or I'm against like a Lottie that's going to try to drop a Draco on me. I can just Sucker Punch and get off probably 30%. Its base attack is only 77, I believe. Yeah, it's only 77, but it's still going to be nice little chip damage for Pokemon that outspeed it and think it's going to be an easy KO. So that's Galvantula. It's pretty much here just for the threat of sticky webs. It's not going to come all the time, but I want the threat to be there. I don't want Pokemon to just hazard stack and then kind of kill me. I want them to have to prep around this. And up to this point, I wasn't necessarily thinking about my team and like how they all play together until this last pick, when I noticed a couple pretty big holes that could break through it. So it took me a while. I really wanted Mega Gardevoir as my last pick, as just one last special hole breaker. Like, just anything that wants to come in is probably going to take about 40% from the Hyper Voice, even if it's Steel and Fairy. Like, I can just hit HP Fire next time. If you're running that much Spadef, I'm going to get good chunks off on it. But ultimately, I didn't think it ended up fitting my team very well. Given that I have a Lottie and a Mew for Psychic coverage, and I already have Azu for Fairy coverage. So I ended up grabbing Mega Scizor. Fairies were an issue for my team, and also Hidden Power Ice is an issue for my team. So when I grabbed Mega Scizor, that adds the dynamic of Hidden Power Fire, that people will have to run Hidden Power Fire in order to check Mega Scizor, and they'll also need Hidden Power Ice for everything else, and obviously you can't run two Hidden Powers. In addition, it's a Fairy answer, kind of. Obviously, Hidden Power Fire is a thing, like I said, for Fairies, because they will not need Hidden Power Ice to hit the likes of my Dragons. But Scizor has tremendous abilities. Sorry, I don't know if that shows up on the screen, but I forgot to turn off my notifications. It has Baton Pass, which is a less effective U-turn, but if there's a prominent, like a Garchomp that's running Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, and I don't want to take that damage, I can Baton Pass out and then take it out with something else. In addition to that, it gets U-turn, obviously, as I mentioned, Bug Bite if I want to take advantage of Technician, Knockoff, Brutal Swing, again, if I want to take advantage of Technician, Iron Head if I just want to hit something really, really hard and go for flinches. Swords Dance, Roost, Default. It's just a really dynamic Pokemon that can really fill a lot of the holes in my team. Like I said, I wasn't necessarily putting a whole lot of thought into like the team synergy, aside from my Buzzwole having low special defense and needing a special defense Pokemon after that. But yeah, this is my team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you have any questions or suggestions about how to make my team better, feel free to leave them. In addition, let me know if you would prefer post-comm or live comm during battles. Some people take really long, so if that happens, I'll obviously end up post-comming it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and peace.